I have been used dating back to prehistoric times and still being used today. I am used in countless ways, from farming to sporting, construction to fishing, and the list can go on and on. I am nothing but a strand of yarn, plies, or fibers twisted up to be used at one's leisure for chores or for play. I am ashamed of my past and have been scarred for life. My scars, my shame, and my disgust lies in the way I was heavily used in America during the 19th and 20th centuries. I'm sure I was used in this cruel manner before people had the decency to even document these cruel acts I was an accessory to many times over. I want to confess. I'm sorry. I'm unable to confess to all of these cruel acts I was an accessory to. But if I could, I would. I want to. Are you following me? Let me tell you about one of my experiences. One day, I was going about my business, doing the normal chores around the house, drawing water from a well, pulling a wagon, steering a horse, and many other things. I never got tired because of my durability until one day, I was used in a manner I never saw coming. I was untangled from my normal chores. I heard loud noises, screams, rumblings, and frustrations between my guardian and a young lady with child. The lady was clearly beaten badly, and my guardian had the nerve to tie me in a knot I was unaccustomed to being in. I was slung around a thick branch of a tree. I was forcefully wrapped around the pregnant woman's neck. I screamed at my guardian, "No, this is not right. I was not made to be used like this." But nobody listened to me. She screamed for dear life. I was shouting to save her life. She screamed for dear life. I was shouting to save her life. She cried as the tightness of my threads became tight and tighter around her neck. My sweat became mixed into her tears. The more we screamed and shouted, the more the crowd cheered. Before I knew it, someone removed the stool her feet barely touched, and I quickly became tight and tighter. I'm shaking, she's shaking, she's screaming, I'm shouting. I never wanted to do this. I never wanted to be used like this. Please, please, please don't let this burden be on my shoulders. I was forced, I tell you, I was forced. I tried screaming for you. I shouted for you. I wanted to save your life. But he persisted. They persisted. After fighting for dear life, my strength overpowered her. She's hanging by my threads, but I still feel life. All of a sudden, someone in the crowd yells, "She's still alive!" And a man digs his knife deep into her belly to be sure both lives are ended. My life never ended. They never ended my life. Instead, they took pieces of me as a souvenir. They think it's okay. I say, no, it's not okay. My pain is still with me today as the killers freely walk away. I'm the accessory in this case. Please forgive me. Thank you. My history dates back to the 9th century. In the 1400s, I grew into a matchlock, and in the late 1800s, I transformed into becoming automatic. I have family that I use mostly in wars, such as bombs, cannons, tanks, and now nuclear missiles, but those are my distant cousins. My life, for the most part, has been with my guardian that's a policeman. People stigmatize me as powerful, dangerous, a comforter, a protector, and many other things. Too many to name them all. I've been through a lot and seen a lot in my day. Unfortunately, I'm a key witness to a tragic incident that happened with my guardian, but nobody's asking me anything. So I sit here in a plastic bag on a courtroom desk, hearing of stories on top of stories. Everybody testifying, but I saw it, live, unedited, and at point blank range. Are you following me? Let me tell you about one of my experiences. It was a normal day with my guardian. I'm sitting comfortably in my favorite holster as we ride the highways and byways of the streets. We get a call of a shots fired alert nearby, and my guardian immediately cuts the flashes on to take off towards the area. I become anxious, but I'm cool. My steel frame keeps me that way. We pull up to the area where the shots were fired, and we notice a gentleman sitting in a parked car, fidgeting with his sound system. I noticed the new sound system screen from my guardian's hip when we approached the vehicle. My guardian tried to get his attention, but the gentleman couldn't hear him because his windows were up, his music was loud. All of a sudden, the gentleman quickly bends over under his seat. My guardian said, "Freeze," but the gentleman couldn't hear him because his windows were up, his music was blasting. By this point, my guardian's sweat was getting all over my steel frame. The tightness of his grip on my steel frame and my trigger became tight and tighter. And before I could blink, click, click, he pulled my trigger. Suddenly, the gentleman rises up with a remote in hand, both hands up in complete shock. My guardian slowly puts me back down near his waist, back into my holster, not realizing I saved us by jamming up. I could tell the gentleman was terrified. Hell, I was too. The gentleman quickly steps out the car and says, "Sorry, officer, I was trying to find the remote to my new sound system to cut the music down to speak to you, but I couldn't find it." My guardian asked him, did he hear of any shots fired in the area? The gentleman says, "Yeah, kids shooting fireworks around the corner. There's no danger here." I was comforted in the gentleman's response. Just when I was getting ready to relax, just when I was getting ready to calm down, pop, pop, I'm a jam. I shoot my guardian directly in the leg. The gentleman quickly calls for help, and here I am with my guardian clearly in pain, but I'd rather everybody coming out living in this situation. My guardian was wrong for pulling me in the first place. Don't put the blame on nobody else. Fess up, I saw you. It's time for us to reevaluate ourselves after this incident. I'm the accessory in this case, but nobody's asking me anything. If you were to ask me, my guardian is not qualified to have possession of me nor be on this police force. I rest my case. Thank you.
The depiction of the pregnant woman that was lynched really stood out for me. I can't imagine the pain she felt, and knowing not only that she was losing her life, but the child that she was going to bring into the world lost his or her life as well. That stuck with me, and I think that'll probably stick with me forever.
I liked how at the beginning it was kind of a mystery as to what he was talking about, but as the details came out, I started to figure out what perspective he was coming from and the purpose of the speech and everything like that. So I really did enjoy that first speech, just because it kind of kept the air of mystery and it continued to unfold throughout the speech.
I truly enjoyed both speeches. I really appreciated how he really dug deep into the speech and didn't metaphorically describe or metaphorically say, like, this is a noose or a rope that I'm talking about and this is a gun, but how he described it really left chills, gave me goosebumps. The end of the first speech where he was describing the unborn child still feeling the pain was just I lost all words I could even think of to describe how impactful that was and how relevant it is in today's times. And then going into the second speech, speaking about guns being present and seeing everything and not being able to speak up and be able to depict what really happened.
If walls could talk, it would tell the pain that I felt listening to the speech. It touched me in certain ways, just knowing the history of this country, our evil past that we don't confront. It would put into words what I feel and can't put into words.
Thank you for tuning in to this production. Thank you to Busboys and Poets. Thank you to my videographers. Thank you to my wife for being so awesome and helping me out in the process. I hope this speech gives you something to think about in the future, as well as start a conversation. What would these objects say if they had a voice? that were used in these brutal killings and murders. And stay tuned. There's more to come. No signals. Thank you, Jazz.
Welcome.
I love you so much.
Love you too.
All right, we good.